right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. That's the title of today's call, ladies and gents. I want to welcome you on to tonight's mindset call. Now, it's very interesting how, you know, you can hear a message, you can hear a word, and, you know, depending on where you are in your life, depending on what you're doing, the goals that you set for yourself, the you know, the environment that you're in, the people that you're around will determine how you hear a certain type of message. Have you guys ever heard something maybe twice before, 3 times before, but then you heard it the 3rd or 4th or 5th time? And when you hear it the 3rd or 4th or 5th time, it means something different because you're going through something different in your life. Have you guys ever really overcame something, and when someone says to express gratitude, you express it in such a way that people think you're crazy because you've just overcome something that you're really, really grateful for? Put some 777s in the chat if you understand. So what I'm about to teach to you today, guys, is something that I've taught before, but it means something so differently now based on the fact that I last taught this message, and it's recorded on my YouTube on the 22nd of February, 2021, right? 22nd of February, 2021, I taught this message, and I'm going to teach it in a slightly different way, but it's exactly the same thing. And so if you are on that call, you are a veteran because it means you've been here way over a year. Okay, and how many of you remember the term sour leavens? Okay, now if you're somebody that wasn't inside this community or you wasn't on this call during that time, you may not be aware of what that call was. And what the call was in regards to at that time was understanding around the sour leavens when it comes to who's in your circle. Now, who can remember what a sour leaven is? So for those of you that don't know, the best way I can describe this, guys, is sort of like a Caribbean thing, is almost like you're kneading bread. What's the thing? Yeast. Is it like you're putting yeast inside a bread and it makes the bread rise? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Now, if you add too much salt inside this, you know, inside the dough, what happens is it begins to get sour and it messes up the whole of the dough, right? So if, imagine, for those of you that make dumpling, imagine if you put too much salt inside the dumpling, you can't pull some of it off and fry it. The whole thing is going to be sour. Kills the yeast, Samantha said, right? So what the sour leaven is like, you know, if you use the right amount and if you put the right amount inside your dough, it's going to rise and it's going to be beautiful. But if you add the wrong ingredient to it, it destroys the entire thing, right? And I want you to understand this, guys, when it comes to your vision, when it comes to your goal, it's very important to understand what ingredients you are putting in there. Now, when I taught this before, I taught it from a place of who's in your circle, who's around you, you know, who are the people that you're listening to. And yes, all of that is so important, okay? Who's your friends? Who's your associates? When it comes to executing, what are those people saying? What are those people, you know, are they even visible? Are they around? Those things, yes, are very important. But what's also important is who are your advisors? Who are your counselors? Who are the people pouring into you? Who are the people that you are listening to right now? I urge you to really ask yourself this question. And I tell you this because, you know, for many, many years, guys, and I know that some of you may resonate with this. You know, I grew up with my stepdad, but I always yearned for my father. I always yearned to understand where some of my traits came from. Was it nurture? Was it nature? What, you know, who really was I? You know, and I had this identity crisis because I didn't have that relationship with my biological father. And, you know, those of you that know me well will know that over the last few years, I've started to, you know, build that relationship with my father. And, you know, it's absolutely, it's such a beautiful relationship that we are having right now, and we're learning about each other, and I'm seeing a lot about, you know, me, and learning about my father really teaches me a lot about where I'm coming from. And, you know, this is advice for some of you ladies out there that, you know, if you are looking for a husband, all right, you may want to find out a little bit about the parents. You may want to find out, and it's not always the case, but there are definitely some similarities from the lineage, all right? Have you ever heard the saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, okay? Now, there's some things that are completely different from myself and my father, right? But there are some things that are so similar. Now, here's the thing. He didn't grow me. He never taught me this stuff. So that leads me to believe that it's in the bloodline. Someone said the bloodline. It's in the bloodline. The things that I've been able to see as similarities is not things that he taught me. I mean, the man is the guy, when he speaks, he's full of wisdom. He sees things 5, 7 steps ahead, so strategic. And, I listen to him, and the way he's, I'm used to advising people all the time, and I'm used to mentoring, and to finally have somebody that's mentoring me, such as my father, in areas, I wanted to just share that with you guys, because I'm celebrating. I'm really grateful for that connection. There was some things that were unanswered that have become clear to me about myself and about my identity. Thank you, Charmaine. About my identity and about the person that I am. And I had to do some soul searching. And what I found is that if I understood some of these things prior, there were some things that I may have been able to avoid. This is a message to the fathers, that if you are a father on this call, and you know that you pay attention to your children, you know that you are present in your children's life, go ahead and just type some 777s. I celebrate you. Don't ever underestimate the power of a father inside his child's life. It is so important. So important. I celebrate, those of you that are actively participating, and those of you that maybe don't have a choice, but are still fighting. I want to tell you, don't give up the fight. Don't give up the fight. It's such a powerful relationship. As a mom, there's no way that there were some things my mom just couldn't teach me. There were some things that my mom just couldn't teach me. And although I had an amazing stepfather, he is a rock to me. He's brilliant. There was just some things missing. Now, I want to just tell you this, guys, that we're in a season right now where there's some deceitful spirits. And I don't know if you guys are getting that in the air right now, but we're in a season where there is some very deceitful spirits. And it doesn't have to be, what we would naturally think is the usual kind of deceit. It could be deceit in such subtle ways. And we have to be very, 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 very sensitive when we see certain things. And I'm talking about integrity, right? Because a lot of people think that, I don't steal, I don't kill anybody, so I'm good. But what about the little white lies? What about the pretending? What about when you fake it? What about when, I don't know, you say that you're just around the corner when you really haven't left your house yet? What about the ones where you said you cooked that, but you really got it out of a tin, or you really got it out of the cupboard, right? Because let me tell you, they're all sour leavens that creep in, okay? So it's so easy to talk about the circle and the people them. But what about those, yes, Angie, what about those sour leavens within us that we have to root out? What about the things that are on the inside of us that we have to say, yo, that was greed. That was pride. Now, I'm wrong for thinking those thoughts. No, I shouldn't have thought that. The ones where you see somebody doing well, and that broke thought comes in your mind, like, how come they're doing well? I bet they had help. That thought, I bet they've done something dodgy. That's also a sour leaven. And we have to root those things up. We have to root the thoughts that come out of our heads, even if nobody else knows about it. We know about it. How many of us know? And I'm the first one to put my hand up. I almost had a broke thought the other day. I was speaking to a friend of mine, and I had a really jealous word that came out of my mouth. Well, it didn't come out. It almost came out. And I said, let me rebuke that. That's not right. Let me rebuke that. And I was referring to somebody that I didn't really know that much. And I made an assumption based on one interaction that I had had with that person. Now, I had an interaction with this person about 7 years ago. And this person wasn't very nice to me. And it was a split second. And so this person, 7 years later, I actually ended up, you see how God works is really crazy. I actually ended up having dinner with this person and a couple of other friends. And, the next day somebody asked, oh, how was the dinner, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, the dinner was great. Did you, interact with that person? I was like, yeah, I interacted. And that person did it. And then as I was about to say, I almost said out of my mouth, I don't see why they earn the amount of money that they earn because they're nothing special. I'm just being honest. I don't know if you guys have ever had that type of thought in your mind. It came out. I'm confessing, guys, let's be honest. How many of you have seen someone and you see they make a hell of a lot of money or they doing so good? And you're judging them or you're like, I don't think, really? If they can, I can. And it didn't come out fully, guys. It half came out and I caught myself. This is the thing about these sour Levens. You got to be able to catch yourself when you sly hating. You have to catch yourself. Now, I wasn't jealous. I celebrate everybody. But what it was is that I was holding on to something that happened 7 years ago and it clouded my judgment. It clouded my judgment till I almost tore down a sister. Now, she didn't know about it because it was between me and somebody else. But I knew about it. I had to catch it. I had to catch it. And I said, I confessed straight away to the person. I ain't even going to finish my sentence because I was sly hating. I celebrate her. And I did the reverse. I was like, I celebrate her. She must know what she's been through, that I don't know what she's been through, why she's got what she's got. Maybe I don't see it on the surface. Maybe I didn't see it over dinner. But maybe she's gone through some things in the dark that I don't know about. So how dare me talk about her behind her back in a bad way, tear down another black sister. Let me just reverse what I just said. And the reason why I'm shaming it, guys, because you guys do it too. I'm going to shame it because it's not right. Those are sour Levens that we have to creep out, because in our minds, if we do things like that, that means that we don't understand that we have a blessing too, that there's enough for all of us. There's so much available that we don't need to have those thoughts in our mind that tears down somebody else because of their belief system or because of what it is that they do. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, Nikki, why are you calling it out like that? Because that's a lack of integrity. It's a lack of integrity, guys. Because if we preach certain things, we have to walk it, we have to talk it, we have to live it. We can't preach one way. And this is why, we ain't even going to go there today, right? But this is why we have to be very, very careful when we're judging another sister, because when we're pointing that finger, you guys hear the same, when you're pointing one, you got the rest pointing back at you. We have to be very, very careful. And so there's some sour Levens that we all, I think, need to work on, because when we work on those, guess what? We're going to be able to learn from each other. We're going to be able to make decisions with a clean heart and a pure hands. How many of you right now is your integrity for sale? How many of you right now, if somebody offered you £100,000 to snake your brother or your sister, would you take that money? How many of you right now is when they say everyone's got a price? What's your price? What's your price? How low will you go? Sometimes it's not money. Sometimes it's a feeling. That feeling to be wanted, that feeling to be good enough, that feeling to want to be seen, or that need to be celebrated, that need to be confident, that need for others to see that you are somebody. That's a sour Leven. I said on one of my calls the other day that I had to check myself when I was, serving only a certain type of people because it would benefit me. How do you call yourself a servant leader if you only help people that benefit you? And I had to check myself. And so what did I do? I did the reverse. I said, I'm open. I've been doing quite a lot of calls from to support some other individuals. They don't benefit me whatsoever. Because I'm challenging those, sometimes we got to challenge some of those paradigms. How many of our parents taught us don't work for free? Don't let nobody treat you like no alley button. My mom used to say that word all the time. Don't let no one treat you like a slave. Don't do nothing for free. You guys heard that? Now, I'm not saying that you let people use you and abuse you. But that means the paradigm in our mind tells us that if we do something, there has to be a return. But there always is a return. That's the law, guys. Remember that book? 7 laws you must honor to have uncommon success. There is a law that every single thing that you sow, you will reap, good and bad. Good and bad. So we have to make sure that we're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing regardless of what it looks like. How many of you have done something that was outside the box and God made a way? That you were like, yo, I don't even know how this is going to work out. How many of you even knew about this industry before you came in? Did anyone know about e-commerce? Did anyone know about trading? Did anyone do? How many of you knew about this before you came in? To the magnitude of what you've learned. It was a risk. It was something that you had to step outside of your comfort zone. And he put you here for a time like this. How many of you put a yes or yes in the chat? If when you came in, you were like, oh my gosh, this is what it was. I didn't even know that I was coming into a wealth community like this. I didn't realize that I would meet like-minded people. I didn't realize that I was going to be prayed into. I didn't realize that I was going to have a support system. I didn't realize that there'd be blessing pots. I didn't realize that there'd be love. I didn't realize, I thought I was just coming in to make money, but I didn't realize there was so much, because sometimes you just have to say yes and the rest will figure itself out. Sometimes you just have to step by faith and the rest will figure itself out. Sometimes God just wants you to walk through the door and he will provide for you. He will show you exactly who you need to hang around. He will show you exactly what you need to do. He will tell you what it is that needs to happen. But you see, there has to be something from our side. There has to be a movement. There has to be some steps taken. There has to be an acknowledgement that faith without works is dead. I believe that the reason why sometimes we're not going as fast as we would hope is that there's some sour leavings on the inside of us that we have to shake off. It could be fear, self-doubt, negative talk, judging a sister, judging a brother, talking behind people's backs, bad-mouthing, whispering, chitter-chatter. All of this stuff, once it's inside, it ruins the whole thing. If you have a little bit, just a little bit of hate in you, just a little, you see, if you have this sour leaven, if you have the leaven here, and you just put a little bit of hate in it, can you now separate any pieces of it? It's all mixed up. How you do anything is how you do everything. And so if you lie, steal, and cheat in a relationship, that probably means you're going to lie, steal, and cheat in a business. That probably means you're going to lie, steal, and cheat at work. It probably means that you're going to lie, steal, and cheat with your family. Like, how you do anything is how you do everything. And so we've got to work on our integrity. We've got to work on making sure that we have a pure heart and clean hands. That this sour leaving stuff. Now, guys, how do you hold yourself accountable to this? You have to have like-minded people around you. like-minded people around you. Because halfway through my sentence, when I confessed, the person I was speaking to was like, yeah, don't even say that out your mouth. You know, the old me, maybe 5 years ago, would have had the person on the phone go, nah, spill the tea, girl. Spill the tea. It's just us. No. Because I challenge myself to be around people that can stick it on me, as we say in the streets. I want my people to stick it on me. You know, it's so uncomfortable to be around mentorship, guys. If you're not uncomfortable around your mentor's too light on you, too easy. I feel so uncomfortable around my mentors to the point where I don't even want to step a foot wrong. I don't even want to say the wrong word. Sometimes I'm writing a message and I halfway write it and delete it because I'm overthinking, because I want to make sure you only get one time to make that impression. I remember one time I was doing a voice note and it went over a minute and I was like, oh, let me just delete this because I know my mentor is not about to listen to this whole long voice note. And I listen back to it as well to make sure it sounds all right. And if not, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to do it again. If your mentors don't make you feel a little bit uneasy, if you're too comfortable around your mentors, if you feel like you and your mentors are like side by side, you lost respect. You dishonor. And you need to have people around you like that hold you accountable, that string you up sometimes. That's what keeps that's what keeps you in alignment. Because I tell you this, if you don't have the right counselors around you, like the other day I had a situation and I rang one of my brothers. I was like, look, I've got a situation. I need counsel. And I got a completely different perspective when I came off that call. And I said, okay, the power of counsel. But let me tell you what happens when you don't have counsel. When you don't have counsel, what happens is inside of that Leven, everybody becomes affected. So not having counsel is you saying that you are okay with everyone being affected. You put your family at risk when you don't have counsel. Your marriage at risk when you don't have counsel. Your children at risk when you don't have counsel. Your business, your parents, when you don't have counsel. Guys, have you ever been with a woman who has no reasoning and you can't even tell her to speak to one of her friends to give her reasoning because you know the friend is not going to give her good counsel? Ladies, have you ever had a man that you can't even tell him to go speak to his boys because all his boys are single and they're all mingle. They're all out there mingling. So you can't even get any of them to talk some sense into him because he has no counsel. When myself and Anton have any differences, I say, right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to stick a pin in it, go get counsel. And his counsel, Auntie Anne's husband, Pastor Steve. My counsel, Auntie Anne. And we both trust in each other's counsel. Right? We trust in each other's counsel to know that neither counsel is going to be biased. And so when you seek counsel, you need to make sure that your counsel isn't going to be biased to the situation to where you seek counsel. How many of you seek counsel with those that you know is going to agree with you? You seek counsel from your friends that's going to massage you and say, yeah, amazing. They don't challenge you. But when you don't get challenged, what happens is everything is at risk. Your vision is at risk. Your mere existence, your purpose is at risk when you fail to have counsel. And when you have ungodly counsels, that's where it becomes dangerous. That's where it's senseless and nonsense. When you have nonsense counselors, counselors that encourage you to do fraud, counselors to encourage you to lie, to cheat, to steal, counselors that encourage you to manipulate. You see, a lot of counsel are wise but foolish. And so you must choose your counsel wisely. You know, there was a girl who left the business probably about 2 years ago. I used to mentor her 2 years ago. And every year since, you know, I've called her to wish her a happy birthday. And it was her birthday. I'm not sure if she's on the call tonight, but it was her birthday. And I called her, said, happy birthday. How are you? How's the family? Blah, blah, blah. And she was, oh my God, Nikki, you remembered me. I was like, of course. Just because you're no longer in this business doesn't mean that we can't be friends, doesn't mean that I can't call you or you can't call me. In fact, you can come on these sessions. These sessions are for everybody. Oh, but Nikki, I was told by such and such, you know, bad counsel. Bad counsel. So you've been hiding away in shame, missing out on your own blessing because bad counsel told you not to speak to me anymore because you're no longer in the business. Listen, guys, I just want to make it absolutely clear that should any of you guys, you know, like I had so many people say, Nikki, am I allowed to come on these mindset calls? Bad counsel. Of course you are. Let me tell you this. If you are no longer benefiting someone and they begin to disrespect you, they didn't love you in the first place. They didn't want you to win in the first place. Because there are some people on this call right now that are not in the business and haven't been in the business, and nobody would know because I don't treat them any differently. Who is having your back? Or do they only have your back when you benefit them? Do they only have your back when you say yes to borrowing them the money or when you give them the money? Do they only say yes to having your back when you benefit them or when you're edifying them or when you're around them? Is it platonic in private as it is in public? You know, I'm in a place in my life where I see a lot and I don't say a lot because I seek counsel. And my counsel said, Nikki, not everything you see, you have to talk. And I was just like, yeah, but I don't want to be fake. I need to spit out. That's the type of character I am. If I see you and I feel you're fake, I'm going to say you're fake. How come you celebrate me in private, but you don't celebrate me in public? That means you've been chatting me. So the people that you've been chatting me to, you can't let them see you celebrate me anymore. You can't let them see you be up on my page no more because you're privately slandering my name. But counsel says, Nikki, sometimes you don't show them your cards. Sometimes you leave it. Wisdom. Let me tell you another time when you know that there's some sour leaven around you is when things just start to go wrong constantly. Have you ever been around somebody and every time you're around them, something happens? Like you're with them, you get pulled over by the police. You're with them, you get a parking ticket. You're with them and just every single time you're around them people there, things just seem to go wrong. It's like the energy, negative energy just attracts. Sometimes, oh yeah, I can see a few of you in the chat saying, yeah. Sometimes you got to really ask yourself this question. I was speaking to somebody 2 days ago, and you guys here, you know, and this is something close to my heart right now, because for those of you that know that when we first came into this platform, one of the things that I set out to do alongside, my brother Kamali, was to, take some young boys off the streets and teach them skill sets that mean that they don't have to do certain things anymore. And, one of them he actually messaged me on Instagram 3 days ago, and he left me a voice note, and he said, "Oh, what's good, Nick? Wagwan." And he never voice notes me. He's normally texts. And I heard his voice, and I said, "Yeah, what's going on? What's good for you?" He says, "Nick, I'm messaging you from inside. I've got 18 years. And I tell you, my heart just sank, because when he told me what happened, it was sour Leven. Why are you around them? Why are you around them? Every time you're around them, you attract the police." Now, we're not saying that, decisions and stuff like that, but your company, show me your company, tell me who you are. And there's something about being guilty through association. Be very mindful who you choose to spend your time with. Be very mindful who you seek counsel from. Do you know that one picture can make or break you? There was a gentleman that took a photograph with somebody who I would say was somebody that I don't connect myself to, because that individual has a lack of integrity. And when I saw that person took that picture with that person, my natural thing was, let me just separate. Let me just separate, because if they're in Veek together, I don't really want to do that. Anybody know what I'm talking about? If you see someone hanging around, if you saw someone posing with Hitler, would you want to hang around them? Are they somebody that you want to jam with? Are they somebody that you want to be seen with because they're hanging around Hitler? So when I see this person, naturally nice person, somebody that I have a lot of respect for, start hanging around Hitler, I separated myself. And one day out of the blue, I said, you know what, let me call him and check up on him. And I called him, and we began to speak, and we, were transparent. He loves me, I love him, and we were just talking. And I said, I'm gonna be honest. And that's one thing with me, guys, I can't help it. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I said, I love you. But when I saw that picture with you and Hitler, I disconnected. And he turned around and he said to me, Nick, do you know, I'm not saying the person's name, we'll just call him Hitler. And he said, Hitler grabbed me, took that picture, and I didn't even know the picture was being taken. And I just felt bad, so I reshared it on my page. I don't even talk to them. I don't even like this person. Can you see how one picture could damage connections completely? And I had to apologize. I was like, I judged the picture. Me personally, I ain't posting no picture with me and Hitler on my page out of, I just ain't. And this is why you got to stop doing things out of obligation, because that was a sour Leven that affected what? Business deals. We had a business deal that we were going to do. I didn't do it with him. There were other things that we were, prepared to do. It didn't happen. Now, thankfully, that conversation happened, and now we're moving forward. But one photograph, sour Leven, damages connection. What was the message? It's not about the person. The message is you felt in your spirit that it was a trick. Let me tell you this. Sometimes people take pictures with you for a trick so that they can leverage you and put you on their page. So they can show that they're with you, but really their intention isn't real good. So let me just make it absolutely clear right now that your page is your page. Your phone is your phone. Don't feel like you have to repost and reshare everything that everyone tags you in. Sometimes you want to listen to the words. How many of you, this has caught me out one time. I've reposted something, the images look great, but I didn't listen to it. It was on mute. So I've reposted it. And when I've gone back and listened to my stories, I'm hearing a bag of swearing. I'm like, oh my God, did I post this? This doesn't represent me the way I want. Be unapologetic about resharing, posting things that people are tagging you in. I don't repost and share everything. It has to be in alignment with who I am and the integrity that I hold. And I don't share every one on my page. I used to feel bad. I don't feel bad anymore because I understand the power of leverage. What you leverage affects you directly. I've been kicked out of circles for who I'm leveraging. I've been kicked out of circles because I'm connected to certain people. Now, here's another thing, guys, you got to be careful of. You got to be careful of having hereditary hatred. How many of you don't like somebody that you don't even know based on what somebody else has told you? We ought to be very careful about that. All right, let's spin it around because you guys are like, nah, not me. How many of you know there's some people that don't like you that don't even know you based on what other people have told them? Now, I'm sure there's no one on this call that dislikes someone that they don't know based on what somebody else has told them. But let me just be very, very clear. That is a sour leaven. These things come in very subtle forms. It's very, very easy to highlight the big ones, but they come in very subtle forms. I had in my notes, like a yeast infection. Oh, I'm teaching this a hell of a lot different than I did last time. Have you ever heard this saying, how somebody treats their parents is a red flag? Have you ever seen someone completely disrespect their parents? And you know that's not somebody you want to be around. Because if you can do that to your mama, your father. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not saying every situation is the same, but mighty. Biblically, it says, honor thy parents, right? Your mother and your father, and your days shall be longer. Counsel. Who's teaching you to disrespect your parents like that? Who's teaching you to dishonor your siblings or to handle your siblings in that way? Who's telling you how to run your business right now? Who's telling you how to? Because I have to vet my mentorship. I have to look around. Now, guys, I'll tell you this, I'll be honest. It's easy to cut off your friends. It's easy to cut off people that you haven't seen for ages. It's easy to cut off your cousin that's a drug dealer or your uncle that is a shoplifter. It's easy to cut off those people. It's easy to cut off the broke people them that don't pour into your life. But what about when the sour leaven has more money than you, has more leverage than you, has more power than you, has more titles than you? What about if the sour leaven is actually an influencer? What if the sour leaven is a mentor? Guys, I actually had a mentor who was a sour leaven. It was the worst time of my life. It was during the time of my suicidal thoughts. I never had suicidal thoughts. And that gentleman pushed me to a place where I never knew that I had, glory to God, I learned so much from that season. But having poor mentorship can put you in a place of such vulnerability. And I vowed myself, I said, look, once he was gone, once he was out, I made a decision that I'm never, ever going to sit in a place too long that's going to push me out of my, number one, integrity. Number two, out of my place where I start to feel uncomfortable. I start to feel mentally unstable. I'm not going to be around mentors. I'm not going to be around mentees or anybody that makes me have that type of thing. Who is telling you how to behave? Who is teaching you? Who's holding you accountable? What are they holding you accountable to? I vowed after that situation, yes, we give God all the glory for pulling me through that tough time. And there were some people that came into my life that really spoke life into me. And I realized why I got caught up in that situation was because I didn't stand my ground. I let some things slide that should have been stopped a long time ago. And so when things like that happen, you got to ask yourself, is a sour leaving in your life because you're not bold enough to open your mouth? Is a sour leaving in your life right now because you can't make a decision because you're scared because of the power that person seems to have? Sometimes it's people, you know, that have authority, decision makers, gatekeepers. But let me just remind you of this. Those of you that are believers, let me tell you this, there is no higher power than the King of Kings. Make the right decision. Don't make a decision based on fear. Don't make a decision based on, you know, fake loyalty. Don't make a decision based on, you know, what you think other people are going to think. Make a decision based on what is the right thing to do. Do the right thing. And sometimes doing the right thing isn't always the easy thing. Sometimes doing the right thing looks like stepping back in order to step forward. But I promise you guys this, if you do the right thing, if you do what's right in the eyes of your conscience, you will always get back more than what you feel like you're letting go of. Sometimes the reason why you ain't getting more is because you're holding on too much. You're holding on to something that really you need to let go. Greed. I'm going to end it on this, guys. Very simple. You have no room for sour leaving in this season. You have no room. Sour leaving could be anything. You know your own sour leaving, but you don't have time for it. You have no time for it at all. You got to make a decision today. Make a decision to refuse to lose your purpose because of a sour leaving. Refuse to lose. Listen, some of you are scared of humility, shame, face. But understand that the truth has to prevail. Understand that what is for you cannot be not for you. And when I got this revelation, guys, a couple days back, I said, yeah, I'm going to move a little different. How many of you remember the M.A.D series that we did? We did a M.A.D series, M.A.D. And we wrote down all of the different words that, you know, M.A.D could stand for. And mine was moving a little different. So they may call me M.A.D in this season. But I'm going to move a little different, guys. I want to work with those people that want to work with me. I'm going to take counsel from those that I trust, those that I know that are going to give me good counsel. I'm going to make decisions from a place of integrity. I'm going to make decisions from a place of clean hands and a pure heart. So I'm going to be moving a little different. Making abundant decisions. Yeah, I like that one. Making abundant decisions. Mindful about my direction. What does your M.A.D stand for? I want you guys to type it in the chat. See the fast thinkers on this call. They're going to call you M.A.D in this season. They're going to call me M.A.D in this season. But I'm about to move a little different. Yeah. I think it's time for that M.A.D season. M.A.D season needs to happen. Remember, guys, mission activated with determination. There's no time to listen. It's time to get mad. It's time to get mad. Who's ready to move a little different? Making a difference. Come on. Mentally and emotionally developing. Come on. What else we got here? Mind of determined destination. All right, I see you. Mission activated with determination. I'm gonna move a little different. You see, they always say when it looks like they're going quiet, don't underestimate that silence. So that's working. Listen, I don't want to say too much. It's time to get radical. It really is. And they may call you mad for a season. But they called Noah mad when he was building the ark until it started raining. Moving aggressively in the right direction. Come on. Mindfully accelerating destiny. Come on, Winsome. Love that. Mission above dollar. Yes, come true. I like that. That's a good one. Mission above dollar. I love that one. Mission above dollar. Mission above dollar. How many of you are ready to put your mission above the dollars? Let me give you the quick acronym that we gave last time for madness, because it is a bit of a madness, guys. M is move to your momentum. A, access your anointing. D, decide. N, a new thing. E, endurance and emotionally. S is stable. And the last S is success. So we're going to be moving into our momentum, accessing our anointing, deciding to do a new thing that we're going to endure and know that we're emotionally stable, which will lead us to success. So the next question is this: if you had no fear, if you were not scared, fearful, doubtful, or worried, what would your next move be? And in the voice of Mr. Daniel Castro Brown, make sure your next move is your best move, because I'm gonna go get mine. I'm gonna go get mine, guys. Ultimate, what we're saying is it's all faith. But it's time to remove that sour leaven, guys. Self-reflect tonight. Do me a favor inside Discord, inside the chats. Just write your top 5 takeaways from today's call. I'm very intrigued. Those of you that are on social media, can I ask you a favor to take a screenshot, a boomerang, and tag me in with one of your lines that you have appreciated most from this session. I hope you have enjoyed it, but most of all, I hope you have something that you can take away and implement. Be unapologetic about your mission and your purpose. Be unapologetic about removing those sour leavens from your life. Be unapologetic about fighting for your family, because if you keep those sour leavens in, if you keep them surrounded for you, you actually put your entire mission, purpose, family, vision at risk. And we have no time for that. Why? Because we're moving mad in this season. I just want to know who's coming with me, like who's moving mad with me, right? Who's moving mad with me? I want to know. I just want to know. I want to know who's moving mad with me right now. We're moving mad, right? I know everybody ain't gonna move mad with me. It's all good. But we're moving mad right now. I'm gonna move a little way different. We're moving a little way different right now. It is indeed a madness. It is a madness. But I'm declaring right now that when you move right and when you move correct, you don't even have to worry about the dollars, because they're going to come in, and they're going to come in swiftly. But we got to get the heart right first. We got to make sure these hands are clean. And we're going to move. We're going to move. And we're going to move. So with that being said, guys, please make a decision today. Okay, go get it. Okay, I'm going to get mine. Peace out. Love you lots. I will see you all very, very soon. Let's go.